Are you someone who thinks back about your teenage years as problematic and has taken out a lot of guilt and shame from that period of your life all the way into your adulthood? If so, let's talk a little bit about my own experience as a teenager and see if you can relate. I'm Dr. V and I'm a mental health therapist. So, both in my personal experience as well as in the work I do, I come across a lot of adults who look back shamefully at their adolescent years and wish they had not been so rebellious or bad kids to their parents. My own experience was that until my teenage years, I was such a good kid. I was very obedient, did what was expected of me, and I was well praised and appreciated for those behaviors. It seemed like almost the day I hit my teenage years, everything fell apart. I was no longer so popular at home because, mind you, I wasn't doing any of the common teenage stuff, that is sneaking out, partying, smoking, drinking, none of that. I tended to ask questions, especially when things were at least perceived as unfair by me, or if something an adult didn't match with their words. So when I asked these questions, I was often made to feel like I was a problem, and that I was being arrogant and I was out of place. Of course, something in me continued wanting to ask those questions, and that didn't do so well for me. I became increasingly less popular at home and felt like a misfit in my own family. Now, so there were two aspects to this. One was the natural human need to start establishing independence during your adolescence, which was what I was doing. I was asserting that I am a person now. I'm not just my parents' child. Perhaps there was some attitude in the way I spoke up, and I don't know what to say about that. I think that seems to be a rite of passage. I think parents don't need to tolerate attitude. They can point out that a child can speak more politely or is being rude, but shaming a child for having an attitude or for speaking back makes the child feel like they are overall bad. The other aspect, other than asserting my independence, was I was also reacting to what was going on at home. The adults in my home were uh, did not have great relationships. There was a lot of resentment in our household, and there was a lot of tension, and children take on all of that tension and react to it without even recognizing what they're reacting to. If you relate to this, feel free to comment on this. But oftentimes, children are blamed just because they acted out something that they are breathing in and day out within in their environment. So I was doing both of these, right? Asserting my independence and also expressing what I couldn't express calmly through my words. So I did take that shame and that feeling of being bad into my adulthood, and it impacted many, many areas of my life. I really wish that hadn't been the case, but I know that I'm not unique in that experience, and that's why I wanted to speak today. If you are one of the adults who's had a similar experience, or perhaps you were a child who conformed because you didn't want to stand out or be in trouble, either way, it probably wasn't a pleasant experience that you took away into your childhood, into your adulthood. My experience is that this impacts our self-worth, our self-esteem, and our adult relationships. Ideally, now I'm a parent too. Do I like it when my child speaks rudely to me, challenges me in a way that makes me feel threatened or that I'm not doing a good enough job as a parent, no, I don't like it. But ideally, what I want to do and I try to do is sit with them and let them know that I didn't like the tone, but I will not invalidate what they are telling me about or feeling as much as possible. And also, I allow my kids to push back when they feel I'm invalidating them. So there is a back and forth. I do not believe I'm perfect at this job. And I don't think any parent is expected to be perfect. But keeping the communication open and not shaming, ridiculing, putting guilt into a child is going to prevent them from taking away the meaning that they are not good people, because no child wants to hurt their parents. They're not deliberately doing anything to hurt their parents. All they want is love, acceptance, and approval by their parents.